Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, Dustin Nguyen.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Tom King. I write Batman Bitch, and this is Bat Force Radio.
All right, welcome to Bat Force Radio, the Batman/DC podcast with no limits, bringing you the Stack comic book stack episode for March 18th, 2020. I got Robin Cross up in Canada.
Evening.
And we got some books. What we got on the burner? We got we got Batman 91, DCeased Unkillables 2, Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 4. What else? What did you read anything additional?
Nightwing 70.
Nightwing 70. Okay. All right. Batman 91. So, what we got here?
So yeah, this is definitely the main focus of the week. So it's part 6 of their Dark Designs, and the first thing that I just want to point out on this is the crazy lineup on this one. Obviously, James Tynion writing, but the art on this book: Rafael Albuquerque, Jorge Jimenez, Carlo Pagulayan, Danny Mickey, Tomu Mori, all in one book. That's nuts.
That's kind of crazy, actually. And it flowed pretty well too.
Yeah,
but we start off on a rooftop in Gotham City where the Joker's having a nice little cocktail, and he's just recounting the time when they met with the designer and how the Penguin, the Riddler, and Catwoman, they were all talking about how they could take over the city and what they wanted to do and its design, and then how the Joker revealed to the designer, or to the bartender he was talking to, telling him how he revealed to the designer that he actually wanted to be the devil, and then he said,
the interesting part about Joker telling this is it could be seen as Joker speaking to the reader, because there's the line where he says, "You think you've heard the truth, but the people telling the story don't know the truth." That's sort of like, you in the last issue we were shown this version of what happened.
Yeah.
But now he's going to tell us what was really happening there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes on to tell the story of the 4 crooks walking into a haunted house to have dinner with the devil. The devil was pleased with the crooks for their sins and wanted to give each a boon. So in that story, it's fun when he does the story, because his story comes complete with little Tom King-esque illustrations of each of the characters. Penguin was the fat old bird that wanted to be king. Riddler was a mad crooked man who wanted to be the wisest in the kingdom. Selina was the thieving cat who wanted to be the richest person in the kingdom. And he explains that the jester was laughing because he understood the devil's game.
Yeah, Joker always on top. And then and then he cuts over, and I guess he contacts Harley Quinn from there.
And Joker, I think the only person that Joker's communicating with is Punchline.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was wondering who he called that once, because then they cut over to that point where Harley Quinn is attacking Deathstroke with all those bat drones.
Yeah, continuing from the last issue.
Yeah, this is where Rafael Albuquerque takes over on the artwork, and that looks pretty badass. I guess Batman overrides it because she can't shoot anymore with the remote control. And then
it's just wasting resources now.
And then Batman hovers over Slade with that pretty badass Batwing aerial vehicle. And that's
just because while you're mentioning the vehicle showing up, not too spoilery, but I've already read issue 92, and there's another sort of vehicle-ish reveal in that issue too.
Mm.
And yeah, so Tynan just keeps bringing new shit in every issue of this story.
Mm. Yeah. Well, shit. I missed that part earlier. I forgot when Slade actually jumps on the windshield and puts his sword through it. That's pretty badass, actually.
So yeah, this part's cool because you have Batman trying to convince Slade to come over and help him, showing him, what's going to happen to the city, and appealing to, Slade is not. I don't really look at Slade as a villain because he has his morals are questionable, but he'll do whatever he's getting paid for. He doesn't go out killing people because he just wants to. It's just the job that he has chosen.
Yeah.
So Batman knows that it's possible to appeal to his humanity and try to get him to help.
Mm.
But he obviously refuses up until later in the issue when we'll see what changes his mind.
Yeah. And then we cut over to Catwoman and Harley Quinn, and they pretty much, what was it? Catwoman starts going in on her plans and how she got, what was it, all the safe codes from the designer?
Yeah, she was going to do the largest robbery that had ever been done, and basically it was going to be to steal all of Bruce Wayne's money.
Yeah. Who did they have captive? Which they don't anymore.
They had all of the other assassins that were part of what was originally Penguin's plan that Designer used against Batman.
And now they're all gone, and Designer comes up on the monitor, and it looks like it was actually a setup because in walks, like, are they gassed or Jokerized SWAT
all
team?
his zombied GCPD SWAT guys.
Yeah, comes. Pretty good story so
He's
far.
got these coroned GCPD SWAT officers.
Pretty much. And then you got Bats back, going back and forth with Slade. And, man, I'd say this Raphael Albuquerque killed it with the art on this one, man. He really went in. But Bats kind of goes into how he spent his wealth and power on fighting madmen in Gotham City. And every time he does it, they keep bringing bigger guns and bigger triggers and whatnot. And what was he trying to do? So he said he's trying to get Slade to help him.
Yeah, he's trying to appeal to Slade's humanity to say, look, this is what's going to happen to the city. I know the way, how I've always done things, but I was wrong, and I see now what I really have to do to help this city.
Yeah.
Let me do it, get out of the way, let me do what I need to do.
Mm.
Slade won't work with him, so Batman takes both of them right off the whatever Batwing equivalent you want to call this.
And Harley and Catwoman barely get out of there as well from those that crazy ass SWAT team. It's a good
Yeah, the interesting part here, because the more we get through the story, the more we see the Designer has been setting everything right up.
Mm.
And when Selina explained to Designer when he popped up on that screen that, she had already told Batman what her plan had been, and so he knew what was coming, Designer reveals, yeah, that was exactly what I wanted you to do.
Yeah.
So now Batman's going to tear himself apart trying to outthink me.
Mm. They have Slade and Bats have to deal with more of like the cops and the all these guys under that's. Was it like a gas or just?
Yeah, I don't know what his method is. We haven't seen anything, but it's the same. That's the same look that his ferryman had in the last issue when he took Penguin, Riddler, and Selina and Joker over to the house, to Tartarus House for the meeting.
Okay, yeah. And then he shows up, but he has the Riddler with him as well. And then I guess it's the Riddler's turn to play, as he puts it. So it should be.
Yeah. So, yeah, Riddler's plan has not yet come into come into play, but that's what we get in the next issue, and that plays out really cool too. So the next issue, minor spoiler for 92. It's heavily it's like a Batman Deathstroke buddy movie. So the two of them rolling through things together.
That's pretty funny. And then moving on, we got Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen number 4, Final Judgment, which leads into dark metal, is it? Or death metal?
Death metal.
Death metal. But this is pretty much a Lex Luthor Batman Who Laughs story, right?
Yeah, and so this is sort of a culmination of everything that came from metal, because that introduced Batman Who Laughs, and then Scott's whole Justice League run, beginning with No Justice and all that stuff. It's all been this road, Batman Who Laughs laying out his plans all the way through, Lex laying out his plans from all that stuff with Perpetua that happened through the Justice League run, and so this story and this issue ends with the two of them basically revealing their trump cards on each other. Well, this is what I had planned for you, and so you lose, and the other revealing, no, well, this is what I had planned, and you lose.
Yeah.
So the end of this, did you read to the end of this issue?
Yeah, I went through.
So this one caps off with, it looks like Lex has won. He brings the Batman Who Laughs to Perpetua to say, okay, here's, this is the darkness that's been standing in the way of our plans. Now you can do what you want with them, and we can move on and finish our plan. And then Batman Who Laughs flops out his Grandmaster plan and explains that he brought Lex to her.
Yeah.
And that this whole thing, like he put Lex on the road to finding her and orchestrated all of this happening. So that's why at the end we see Perpetua cast Lex out, and now Batman Who Laughs is her new partner.
Yeah, and it was crazy because I guess the Batman Who Laughs knew how to penetrate Lex's suit, and yeah, it was a pretty good plan, actually.
And there is some good exposition on Lex's motives for everything he's done. He talks about how he's been made to feel, even though he's the smartest man on the planet and he's rich and has all these resources, he was still always made to feel less because he was always in the presence of these gods. So he explains how, he tried to do it both ways. He tried to do it, his way. He was the bad guy, and then he saved the world from the crime syndicate, and because he so clearly saved the world, the Justice League allowed him to join. So he tried doing it the hero way, and he was good at that, but he was still less than these gods. So it's a good just peek into his mind and laying out why he's made the choices that he's made.
And in the epilogue, Mercy finds him, and she's like, "Oh, you're alive," and he's like, "No, we're all dead." So it looks like it's a nice little segue into death metal, which looks pretty interesting from what we've seen from Greg Capullo so far. So it's pretty cool.
And I'm interested to see what they do with Lex moving forward through death metal, because he's going to be super pissed now because he found out in that last confrontation that Perpetua had been lying to him all along. Because if you remember back to the beginning of this whole Perpetua story, Lex had seen that vision of the future where all the superheroes had been eliminated, and he was seen as the god of that future.
Yeah.
So it was like the Batman Who Laughs already knew this, that the future Lex was shown was never real, and it was just to to make him be her pawn.
Yeah. Huh. Pretty good.
So Scott and Greg are going to be working with a pissed off Lex.
Yeah, he's usually pissed off anyway. But
Yeah, he's not a happy guy.
and then we got a DCeased Unkillables number 2. I didn't read number 1, but so I'm a little confused as to the mirror aspect of this.
Oh yeah, so I'll fill you in. So basically, what happens in issue 1 is we saw Jason Todd arrive at the Batcave, and he's just finding out how bad everything had gone, with this plague, and he found the bodies of Bruce, Dick, and Tim. So he buries all 3 of them, does a funeral for them, and then ends up finding Cass and Jim Gordon. So they all partner up together. And then the other side, we found Slade at the beginning of the plague, just out on one of his contracts, and he ended up being overtaken by a bunch of infected. And he gets infected, and you see him, basically die. But because of his healing abilities, we find that he is actually immune to the infection. So, he came back from it.
Okay.
So he's okay. So stands to reason also that Rose is maybe similarly immune to it. But they get scooped up by Vandal Savage, who explains to them that this is not the first time, this is not the first plague that he's experienced. And he's going to lead them to fixing what's left of the world. So that's where Mirror Master is a part of that, and Captain Cold, etc., etc.
Okay, so on one side you have like Gordon and Jason Todd, Cassandra Cain. Shiva comes into play, I believe.
Yeah. And Bane is part of Vandal's group as well. Creeper is in there. Solomon Grundy. Yeah, it's a whole wacky group.
And then she goes. Yeah, they have a little confrontation with Shiva.
Yeah, Shiva comes. Shiva comes basically to collect Cassandra.
Right. Yeah.
Uses Mirror Master to get to where she is and says, "Okay, you're coming with me. We have a safe place away from this, and we're going to try to fix things. So come with me." And Cassandra says, "Only if you take all of us with you. Otherwise, I'm not going."
Yeah.
So Shiva fights her, trying to make her come.
Then she tries to get her to stay, and then Shiva leaves through the mirror. And then, but she goes on the other side. She's with is that Bruce and Slade and Rose on the other side?
No, not Bruce.
Okay, I didn't know who that guy was.
That's Vandal Savage.
Oh, okay, yeah, it looks like Bruce. And yeah, they got Bane as well. And they fuck, man, they split the Creeper's chest open for what reason?
Yeah, because Creeper is also immune to the anti-life equation plague. So Vandal Savage had him in that lab split open to learn what makes him immune, to look for a cure or a treatment. And once Slade arrives there, he tricks Slade into going into that room too. Acts like he's gonna let Slade in on have him as one of the leaders of this thing, but he just gets him into the lab to do the same thing to him. He was gonna split him open too.
Ah, I see. And then,
but after everything goes bad there, the ones so they get attacked by the anti-life equation zombie Wonder Woman. And you have that page where let me get back to it there. It's hilarious when Vandal finds out that Wonder Woman is a zombie, so he turns around and sees, because Rose says, because she can see in the future, so she says, "We got to get out of here."
Oh shit.
And Vandal turns around just in time to see Wonder Woman and says, "Oh shit, Wonder Woman's a zombie," and then she fucking tears him up.
Yeah, she freaking. That was pretty badass. And then
So,
That was so hot.
and then those that survive end up going through with Mirror Master. He takes them through to where Cass was. So in the end, everyone ends up, the two sides partner up to continue this.
And then they let the other side in where all the infected are as well, or they were going to deal with the infected.
Yeah, there was a room full. They're in an orphanage.
Oh, okay.
So that the orphanage is the place that Jim, Jason Todd, and Cass found, and they found that there were all these kids there that were all on their own because everyone else is dead now, and they were all the infected people are locked in a room. So after basically the villain side come in, it's decided that okay, well, we have to work together. Yeah. We don't have any other choice. They get attacked by Mirror Master, who has now been infected. He starts coming through the mirrors and the windows, any reflective surfaces. So more infections end up spreading through what's left of the team. So by the end of the issue, Bane is infected.
Yeah.
And because the anti-life plague doesn't just make the infected people just attack anything they see. It's sort of intelligent, and it has them strategize. So when it infects Bane, the first thing it does is make him go outside, break open the doors and break open the gates outside and let all the other infected in.
Oh shit, Ace is in this too, I see. Yeah. And then he has...
infected Bane looks badass.
Yeah. Then you have... yeah, he has that piece in the back of his head, and it's talking about the anti-life equation. So Bane's just going nuts. And yeah. I mean, on DCeased Unkillables. Not bad. And you also read Nightwing, you said?
Yeah. I've been kind of lax on Nightwing for a while now since all this Rick stuff was going on. But Nightwing 70 is a prelude to Joker War, so I wanted to get in and read that.
Oh, that cover's crazy with Joker has Nightwing's costume on.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
So what we have going on in Nightwing right now is that the group of people that were acting as Nightwing they've all been nearly killed.
Right.
So they're coming to the realization that they're in over their heads, and just because they're cops or firefighters, whatever they were, doesn't mean they can be superheroes. So it looks like they're being forced to hang it up. So the rest of the story is we're seeing, I think he's still Rick, but I'm just going to call him Dick because I refuse. Looks like Dick is having two different memories. Like he remembers the Talon stuff that happened to him recently because he was being mind controlled and convinced that he had grown up being trained as one of the Talons for the Court of Owls. And his mind is also showing him some foggy memories of the life he actually had growing up with Bruce and being Nightwing. So he's having those two memories battling back and forth. So it looks like we're getting him on the road back to being Nightwing. But at the same time, we have Joker coming looking for Nightwing. And what he finds first instead is someone pretending to be Nightwing, but he can obviously tell that that's not really him. It doesn't go well for that guy.
Oh shit! I like the art in this a little better. The art's been all over the place in the stack this week, but I kind of dig the art of Nightwing right now. Who is the? I don't know.
How long has he been Rick Grayson for now?
I'm not even sure when it started,
it's been like
but
over a year.
Was that Didio's call? Does anyone remember?
Didio apparently, if you want to believe the blogosphere, hated Nightwing. So it might have been.
So
Because
the
technically-
artist on this issue is Ryan Benjamin.
Yeah,
You were
it's pretty-
asking.
I like that. It's a real comic book aesthetic.
Oh shit! I have a commission from Ryan Benjamin.
Damn, this shit's going up, boy.
It's
What's interesting is this look. He sort of has that domino mask wrapped around his eyes, and that looks pretty similar to remember the 0 Year Nightwing issue back during 0 Year. That was kind of the look that he had back for that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like the Joker looks good too. Yeah, this is a good looking issue. Really good artwork. And then it's a nice little segue into the Joker War. So, yeah, this guy's a good comic book artist. Decent.
And there was a cool variant cover. I posted it on Batforce. There's a variant cover for this by Alan Qua.
Okay.
Right.
He's a really good artist. He's been doing variants for the last couple.
Ryan Benjamin just had a baby too.
Oh shit.
Congrats to him.
Yeah.
Congrats to him.
Right after San Diego, so it's probably about like 6 to 8 months old, baby.
Oh shit. Comic book baby.
Still working. Still working. Man, it's crazy. Crazy times right now.
That's a stack right there. That's a pretty good stack this week. What's coming out next week, Robin? You
know? What do we have coming out next week? Let's see if I can find a list here.
Joker, 3 Jokers.
Next week?
I wish. That's not so
but at least there's news on that now. We've got a release date and everything. We've seen the main covers for all 3 issues and also the variant cover for issue 1.
Yeah, and they all look fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. What was I gonna say about that? Yeah, I've been looking at those like nonstop since they came out. Fucking awesome. He's making one of each issue is gonna have one of the 3 Jokers. It looks like.
Yeah.
As the cover.
And then I assume are all 3 variants going to be Batman covers? You think? We've only seen issue 1, I think.
That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe maybe it'd be Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood because those are supposedly the 3 main characters.
Could be.
Have you guys talked about a little bit about what's going on with comic shops right now?
No, we haven't tackled that at all yet.
Yeah. So my comic shop is doing. Shout out to Royal Collectibles in Queens, New York, who are now doing curbside pickup. So I call it the comic book drive-through, which it's finally happening. I call it the comic book drive-through. So yeah, that's going on.
You got to think too, like I mean, obviously they have to do this right now to stay in business, but I bet, like, why not just keep it going after?
Right.
You know, because it's just going to be a more convenient way to pick up your comics. Another question, is New York in full lockdown yet?
No. That would be a state decision, and no, it's not.
They haven't done that yet?
No.
That's crazy. Because California just went on full lockdown tonight.
Yeah. So it might follow suit, but it's not just New York City. It would have to be a state.
The whole state of New York.
Yeah.
Because there's so many of you guys, it's a big decision.
Yeah, but you know, it's probably inevitable for the
I think so.
near future. But we were talking to Robin earlier about what's going on with Diamond in the near future as well.
Did you talk about that on air?
No, Robin.
Not yet.
Did you want to go over that?
Yeah, I'll get it. So yeah, similarly to what, like, we're not on lockdown over here yet, but everyone is being advised to stay home or, you know, not go into places unnecessarily. So my shop, Rogues Gallery, we're also offering curbside pickup, and we're even looking at offering home delivery for people that don't want to even travel out. So that might be something that we offer in the next week. But yeah, the bigger thing that's been going on now in response to all of this is Image and IDW have started looking for proactive solutions to help comic shops, because as publishers, they recognize obviously that if comic shops don't make it through this, then they're screwed. It's incumbent upon them, just like it's incumbent upon Diamond, the comic distributor, to take care of shops in this time, to make sure that the industry still exists when this is over. If all the shops end up closing, then who's Diamond going to sell to? Who are the publishers going to sell to? So it's expected. We know Diamond is working on something too, and they're supposed to be announcing that as soon as it's ready, what their plans are to help shops. The main thing that I think Diamond needs to do is, in any areas where shops aren't going to be able to remain open, basically anywhere that's going to be on lockdown, not essential places, if shops won't be able to open, Diamond has to at least offer those shops the option of having their shipments stop. Because a lot of shops are going to struggle no matter what. If there's a shutdown, if they get shut down for 2-3 weeks, can't open and can't sell, some of them won't survive that regardless. But most shops will not be able to survive at all if they're closed for 2-3 weeks, maybe even longer, and they can't open, can't sell, but they still have weekly shipments coming in. If you own a business and you have a $10,000 invoice coming into you every week and you can't open and sell, how many weeks are you going to be able to survive those $10,000 invoices?
Fuck.
So that's going to be a quick death for a lot of retailers if Diamond doesn't say, okay, we're going to hold off and not put another nail in your coffin every week.
Yeah, that shit stacks up.
So they're gonna be the landlord that's gonna decide to give you a break for a couple of months.
So that's what we're hoping they'll do. I expect that they're working on something more complex than that. Maybe something in addition to that, or some way of working together with retailers. But definitely something has to be done, or a month from now, there aren't going to be many comic shops left.
That's fucked up, man. Because I was just reading an email from one of my favorite shops in my area, Collector's Paradise. They got a location in Pasadena, in the Valley, in Winnetka, and they just opened a third. Also, I think in the, can't remember where exactly the third one is. They just opened it, but the email said, in response to LA, we are on full lockdown now. LA County is, you cannot leave your house unless you're going to go for essential travel, meaning to the store to get food and supplies, or if you are like an emergency worker, or if you're going to work. And what's the third one? Basically, you can't fucking go anywhere, So I was reading this email right before I hopped on, and it was saying, like, we don't know what the future means for the shop. We don't know if we're going to be here when this ends. So what they're doing is they're just going to start whatever they have, however long they get shipments for. They're going to start shipping comics home to people. So that's what they're trying to do, is whatever gets sent to them. If you have a subscription, a pull, they'll work with you to mail you your comics. So, I mean, it's really sad because, like, these are really mom and pop. Like, a lot of the mom and pop comic shops are probably not going to be able to make it. And I think what's going to end up happening is, like you're saying, all the big publishers and distributors are kind of scratching their heads. I think what's going to have to happen is all these at least the writers and the artists can at least for themselves start doing creator-owned stuff. That might start happening a lot more. Or not creator-owned. I'm sorry. What's it called? Indiegogo, like crowdfunding. Yeah. So that's the one thing that I think is still available. It all depends upon where you get it from, who prints it, and how that's going to work. But there's a lot of artists who are kind of doing that anyway, and I bet you we're going to see like a big bump in that, just to kind of help people survive and get books out there. This is crazy, man. I never thought we'd be having this kind of conversation,
I think this could be helped really quickly. Like a a lot of troubles could be alleviated for shops if just starting from the top down. If you work backwards from retailers, if Diamond says, okay, we'll defer your invoice payments for 3 months, 4 months, whatever, 6 months, however long it takes for things to go back, and in turn the publishers above Diamond, DC, Marvel, Image, IDW, Dark Horse, say, okay, we'll defer your payments to us as you've been doing to the retailers. So if everyone from the top down is patient with getting their money and helping ensure that the industry survives, that's going to relieve the pressure from everyone down the line.
I wonder if it would still fuck the physical market, but I wonder if like the big two are considering now like increasing the amount of web comics they do or digital comics. Where
I know see digital comics being really big right now, to be honest.
Well, that's what they're doing with movies, right?
Yeah.
I think Bloodshot is just getting released right online.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
When?
It might be this week or something. I don't know. It might already be out.
That's kind of awesome because I didn't want to go see that in the theater.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of bummed.
Okay, can I just ask the question? Why the fuck is there a Bloodshot movie where Bloodshot just looks like Vin Diesel?
Dude,
he doesn't look like Bloodshot.
Like, honestly, when they announced like they're gonna make the movie, my first thing was I swear to God, I'm like, please don't fucking let it be Vin Diesel. Like, because I know, like in my head, I'm like, that's the kind of movie he would totally want to do.
Yeah. And it just looks like another Chronicles of Riddick movie because, or Fast and the Furious 50. It could be either one of those. Yeah. It's just Vin Diesel looks like Vin Diesel, but secretly has the abilities of Bloodshot. And especially we're so fresh from, was it Bat in the Sun that made that series? Yeah. And they had the Power Ranger guy.
JDF,
as
Jason Frank.
As Bloodshot, and he looked fucking incredible.
And
so
that was on
how in that world, on an indie budget, how does Hollywood then say, "Oh yeah, well we see what you did over there with Bloodshot, and we're just gonna give you Vin Diesel"?
Dude, it's so funny because with the indie budget, they had to use like actual they just airbrushed all over the guy's body.
Yeah.
So technically, it was, and I don't know how they did the red eyes. I think they maybe just put contacts in his eyes. But they did the red eyes with the white skin, and they literally just did practical effects for the way he looked. And with Vin Diesel, they're making all that shit look all digital, probably. And I don't know, man. I don't hate...
there isn't anything to do. He doesn't have the pale white skin. He doesn't have the red eyes. He just looks like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, they phoned it in.
It's Vin Diesel in like fucking tactical gear, and that's it.
I have a question. Do you know Valiant, right? They sold those movie rights away, obviously. Did they have any involvement with the movie?
I hope not. I hope they wouldn't have signed off on Vin Diesel.
No, I think they sold it to his production company, or not his production company. The studio that produces the Fast and Furious movies. I don't know if he owns that production company or not.
I mean, like, good for Valiant, because that's obviously going to be good for them financially and help them keep going. And I don't know how well they do on the comics, but over the last few years they've been, since this resurgence of Valiant books, when they started having people like Jeff Lemire writing Bloodshot and all the X-Man War that's been going, everything, they've been winning awards.
Yeah, Venditti was writing. Robert Venditti was writing X-Man War for a long time. He's doing now. What is he doing now? He got moved over. He was on Justice League. Now he's on something else. It hasn't come out yet, but he was talking about how he needed it. He was apologizing for going off of Justice League after just taking on Justice League to pop off to be on another book now, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, okay, back to video on demand web comics. Yeah, I mean, it'll kind of fuck the physical market, but I mean, DC already has web comics. Marvel already has. I don't know. Does Marvel have? DC used to have like a lot of like weekly web comics, digital comics and shit. So
yeah, like the digital firsts, where they would put out a few pages each of single issues, and then by the time the full issue came out digitally, the physical issue would be out.
Isn't the Dini one the Adventures Continues? Isn't that gonna?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Cool. And then another thing that they did was the Walmart books. Were those only Walmart exclusive, or do they do those digital too?
I don't know if those came out digital.
I think they might have been Walmart exclusive because remember so many people were complaining the only way you could read them was going to Walmart that fucking never had them stocked.
Yeah, and then they, after they were done at Walmart, they started doing the comic shop releases of them.
Shout out to Nick Darrington and Bendis because their Batman Universe hardcover came out this week. I can't wait to grab that. It's been out for the single issue for a while, but I was waiting I was trade waiting on that like Gramps.
There you go.
Fuck, man. It's crazy, crazy times with comics. Oh, yeah, if you guys get a chance, fucking buy your comics still while you can.
Yeah, no matter how big or small your shops are, they will need as much of your support as they can get. You know, if you want your comic shop to still be there when this is all over, they need help.
It was really cool of Scott Snyder to he went on a retweeting frenzy the last 2 days.
Yeah, I saw a few guys saying that. Scott said it. Josh Williamson had said it as well, and some other guys that if your shop is doing anything, offering your customers any extra way to get their books, tweet at us and we'll retweet you.
Yeah,
definitely.
They were hundreds and hundreds of shops got retweeted, which is kind of cool to see.
And that's what needs to happen because these creators need this to get through as much as anyone else does. So it's every level of the industry needs to be working together because every level needs all the other levels.
Right.
The creators need the publishers need the distributor sure as fuck needs the retailers, and we need the retailers. So everyone at every level of the industry needs everyone to work together and get through it.
Yeah. Fucking Corona.
Yeah. And then 15 years from now, we're going to have this generation. Right now we have the millennials. In 15 years we're going to have the coronials, and hopefully they aren't shitbags.
Seriously. Nuts. Man,
we don't want the coronials to be growing up and hearing tales of when there used to be comic shops.
Fuck, man, that's crazy. You can't let the physical media go. I hope we definitely got to support the local comic shops throughout this time as well. Another news: Domino's is hiring 10,000 employees. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, I guess people. For what, delivery? I guess yeah.
Yeah, contactless delivery. I think everyone's so worried about the restaurant business, but I think if you look at Italy, it's all these restaurants they do a pickup or delivery. I mean, there's money to be made,
If you have the means to do it, yeah.
And then it's contactless delivery, so there's 10,000 hiring 10,000 people. Domino's. Oh, that's fucking crazy. But
did you hear about? Did you guys hear about piece of shit GameStop?
No.
They sent out a memo to employees saying that even in lockdown areas, they're not going to close because they're considering themselves essential, essential whatever the fuck the legal term is.
Essential service.
Yeah, like an essential service.
Essential douchebags.
Yeah.
Do you hear this was like a week or something ago, the CEO or whatever of Whole Foods, I think it was, announced that what they are, basically what they're doing for their employees who are sick and can't work is they're not doing anything. They are suggesting that their employees who are not sick give their PTO, their paid time off, to the employees that are sick. So basically, the company is saying, we're not going to go out of pocket to help our employees. We expect our employees to help each other, so we don't lose any of the billions of dollars that we put in our pockets every day.
That's fucking crazy. What?
Douchey. They have so much money, and they're not going to take care of their employees.
Doesn't Amazon own Whole Foods?
Yeah,
Really?
I think Jeff
I didn't know
Bezos
that.
owns all of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
Jeff
What the fuck?
Bezos is the single richest guy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone could be taking care of their employees, it's
Dude.
that dude.
Jeff Bezos could save the comic industry.
Yeah, he could.
I mean,
He
I
could-
think it'll be around. I think comics are like vinyl. I think it'll always be around, you know. But it's
Yeah.
it's the shops that
Right.
are gonna need help throughout this time. I mean, there's gonna be like bailouts. There's a lot of bailouts and shit. Small business bailouts, all that. So, you know, I'm hoping that my shop has such a loyal fan base. They've been around since the '90s, so I know they get a lot of support. But you know, it's you know, I definitely want to try to keep these-
Shout it out again. It's Royal Collectibles, right?
Yeah, Royal Collectibles in Queens, New York, which is started doing curbside pickup right now. I get they're still
And,
allowed to operate, so I hope that continues. You know,
Robin, you
what-
have to go. You have to be the guy.
Sorry?
Is that you? Are you the delivery man?
Well, we're looking at it right now.
Oh, fuck.
So again, it's Rogues Gallery Comics in Windsor, Ontario. Yeah, we're doing offering the curbside pickup right now, and if things continue as they look like they'll be, we're prepared to start rolling out the
catapults. You're gonna catapult
the at-home
the
delivery.
You know what you guys
So
should do? Is you
we've
should
we've
get-
got the portable debit machine already and everything, so we can just take stuff right to people's doors and
Oh, and
You-
then they're
you
gonna
should-
swipe and do all that, like on the.
just do the tap, or if they want to do it, you can also pay online. You know, like there's PayPal, there's
Yeah, like I think Royal's only doing
email transfers and everything.
I think Royal's only doing like PayPal or prepaid or
What's
whatever.
the thing? Apple
it's-
Pay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are so many digital payment methods, and then tap is great too, like because you don't have to touch anything
that's it.
really.
Yeah,
You
that's it.
tap your card onto the machine, and
Yeah.
then that's it.
You guys should ask Fabric and Finch to donate their time and be the delivery guys for you. To kind of like almost like Santa coming around giving you your comics.
But at the same time, do we want to risk exposing them?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, they'll build up their immunities.
They don't have immunities. They spend as much time locked in their own houses
That's
as I
true,
do.
man.
DC's working from home now. DC's just like everybody else. DC is
Yeah.
working from home. Shout out to
Yeah, I
Mo
saw-
Lush is
I
working.
saw-
from-
Yeah, I saw Andy Curry tweet a picture of his home office now.
It's good because that means more guests, right?
I know they can't hide from us anymore.
Yeah.
They got no excuses.
I know. Clark Bull's working more overtime than he usually does,
That sucks.
getting things emailed out to everybody, keeping people up on things.
Yeah, the great thing about comic books right in this day and age is that they could be done. The creators can do them from home, and you could actually release it digitally.
They've been doing
Mm.
technically.
Yeah, technically, yeah. So you don't always got it. That's how we do the review stack is actually digitally. We get those files, so that's a good thing we get those so we can review it for everyone. That Force Radio.
Yeah, so if you can't get your comics, don't worry. We'll get them and we'll spoil them for you.
Yeah, because it
Yeah,
sounds like a lot of people, including myself, going to be on lockdown. So there's going to be a lot of comic book reviews. The stack will be on time and other reviews, guests, I mean, it just makes sense, So, yeah, got to keep getting.
Right.
What was that?
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm. Dan, see, this is what happens when you let Dan DiDio go. Everything goes to shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
what the fuck? Yeah, DC really dropped the ball on this. They get rid of Dan, and yeah, all this shit happens. What?
World ends.
2 weeks later? Fuck's
Scary,
sakes.
man.
Dan must be like, fuck that. But,
That's like if we ever fired the Trunkler.
mm.
That's what happened.
Big trunks. All right, sounds about right. Ladies of Bat Force Radio, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you stick with us because we got a lot more down the pipeline. So, until next time, Bat Force out.
Hey Gotham dwellers, make sure to stop everything right now and subscribe to Bat Force Radio. We can be found on iTunes and SoundCloud. Don't miss out. Guaranteed to satisfy all of your Batman and DC needs.